So check it out. This message is unofficially sponsored by Big Vu, BIGVU. I'll be using their teleprompter app that I downloaded on my smart device. Like I said, it's an unofficial sponsorship, but we're hoping to build a relationship over there unofficially. So without further ado, welcome to Rob Art TV, A Healthy Perspective. Thanks for tuning in to A Healthy Perspective. I'm your host, yours truly, Rob Art the Thinker. And my guest today is a real cool brother. We met down in Ohio at the Arnold Classic. And after spending a day with him and my homeboy Q, I said I have to get this man on the show just because I like this perspective and his views on things. Very interesting. Then we get back to New York, and I see a post he shared on IG showcasing the transformation. And I was like, I definitely got to get him on the show now, just because he's got a story to tell. So my guest today has transformed from being 430 pounds plus down to 268 pounds of lean muscle. He's a 6-time lifting champ, nationally qualified in classics physique. He's also a personal trainer and a well-traveled brother, I must say. He's always on a flight, always buying a ticket. Please welcome my man, Otis Bartlett, to the platform. Also known on social media as Divine Bod. And without further ado, here's our conversation. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can be alerted each time I post on my channel. Peace.
Sure.
Recording is in progress.
All right.
Got you going on through the mixer. All right, perfect. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome a good brother. We met down in Ohio through my man Felix, Q the photographer. Shout out to Q. And
sure.
Definitely a good brother. And we hit it off, and I asked him if he would do the honor of jumping on my show, since I'm getting back into the podcasting thing. And he definitely he did the honors of holding up to his word. So I appreciate him. He's on the West Coast, so it's early over there for him. So
he's mad early.
But welcome my man Otis Divine Bod to the podcast, everybody. Thank you.
I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that you actually, doing it again. That's what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Following through with that passion, man. Like it's a vibe. And if you have a story to tell, you have, a platform to utilize that shit, What? Before I even start, I want to know, this is your platform. So language, let me know about language.
Oh, no, I need you to be you. That's
okay.
I need you to be you. I couldn't tab you over here and have you be somebody else or not be you.
Sure. I want to say I'm always me, but sometimes, I know, depending on the platform, sometimes, I have a platform where, kids look up to you, they admire you. And sometimes language can be a little intensified, but sometimes I feel like certain words can convey a message that other words can't. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's all about how you do it. And it's all about how it's presented. You know what I mean? And
sure.
And if I feel like it's going a little south, we'll definitely
we're gonna have to turn it down.
Yeah, we'll definitely pump the brakes. But definitely. But I love the that was one of the things that I stepped away from my encounters with you, was just how authentic you were to who you were. You know what I mean? And how you moved. And it was like, man, I love that energy, and I loved being around you and just grabbing that vibe from you. So I need you to be you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I need you to be.
I want to say, not even in the fitness community, like in our culture, you know what I mean? In the culture of this new generation, a lot of people lack that transparency. You know what I mean? Like they display who they want to be perceived as versus who they are. You know what I mean? So every time you meet somebody, it's like you call it into a 1-800 line and you talking to a representative. Like that's not how you that's not how you move. That's you. You through you time promote your story really helps us.
Hold on. You break it up a little bit. Is your Wi-Fi good? You want a good Wi-Fi?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi done. This is the only thing that's on my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my stuff is good too. I don't know. There was like a little lag, but you good now? I don't know. You there? That you or me? It might be me. Is that you or me?
I think that's you. I got like my Wi-Fi is good, and this is the only thing that's on it.
Okay, yeah, I just got something that said my Wi-Fi is unstable.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, so that confirmed that. But what were you? I'm sorry, can you just go back a little bit in what you were saying?
No, I was saying in our culture, not even just the fitness community, but like our generation, everybody wants to put on like a show. You know what I mean? And they lack a level of transparency. So you meet, you know, somebody and they introduce their representative. Like, this is who I want you to see me as. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got all this money, or I'm this dude and I flex all the time. I mean, but they lack being themselves. And I feel like if you have a platform like yours, like mine, if you are transparent and you move and you be genuine to who you are, you can help a lot more people. You know what I mean? A lot more people can discover, you know, what that worth is all about, and have some humility with it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying, bro. I definitely do. So let's get there. Let's go back. So,
sure.
You know, one of the things that I discovered about you, that I found out, was that you had a huge transformation in your life.
Sure.
And I was like, wow, like, you know, I'd love to know the story behind that transformation, behind the mind. How did you transform from who that person was to the individual you were today? You know, I like to say we live many lives in one existence. So
1000%, man. I love that. I love that.
That's like, who are you now? How, I want to know the journey. I want to hear the journey. I want to hear, and if you would be willing to share that to me and, you know, my listeners and stuff like that, because
sure.
You made a huge transformation in your life that took dedication. It took knocking down walls and building new ones and a new mindset. So I'd love to hear the journry.
Sure, man. I appreciate that. I know you have a very familiar journey as
Yeah.
well, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was something when I was in Ohio. I think you sent me a pitch and I was like, damn, you know, it's such a small world when you collide with some people. You really don't know where they come from, you know? Yep. People look at me these days and they think, oh man, you've looked the way you look your entire life. But that, you know, that's further from the truth. Like, to be honest with you, I've been fat for way longer than I've been in shape. So I still move like a fat boy. Sometimes I still think like a fat boy. And you know, it's still, I want to say, it's still a mind fuck. You know what I mean? It's still mentally getting to that point where you realize, like, okay, this one cheeseburger, this one thing that you have isn't going to derail you. But it's so easy to fathom that you'll get right back there in an instant, because you know how it feels to be there. I want to say at my heaviest, I was probably 430 pounds.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. So that is at my heaviest.
So let me ask you. So you're originally from DC.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. That's where you born and raised, right?
Yeah, that's where I was born and raised. Yeah.
Born and raised. So you went to high school. You graduated from DC. What year is this? Give me a decade.
So 2001, 2000. You make me tell my age. God damn.
I make you tell it without you telling it. It's all about how you.
Yeah. I hope your listeners are not good at math. So we gonna keep it there. But like 2001, 2002. You know, that's where I'm leaving high school, heading into college. You know, I was always a fat boy, like through adolescence. But I want to say,
so
when you surrounded.
That's what I wanted to ask you real quick. So
sure.
Asking the culture around what you grew up in and where you grew up, how did that constitute to you, your weight gain, and who were you as a child? Like, give me 5-year-old.
Oh, and so as a child, bro, be honest with you, I was just a kid. You know what I mean? Like, in our culture, I want to say, like, Black people, we eat fried food. Like, this is nothing new. If it don't have gravy on it, what are you cooking? You know, like,
if your plate ain't folding, if it ain't
right. If you give me a paper plate, it has to have an indentation because it's got to be heavy. So for me growing up, I never knew I was fat. You know, like, I just saw other kids that were smaller than me and I thought they weren't fit. You know, like, you guys not eating good, I'm eating good. So, you know, you grow up in the culture and that mindset that this is how you're supposed to eat. And
Yep.
when your family isn't a family, like not knocking my family at all, but when your family is a family like this country and, you know, they eat gravy and all that stuff, you surrounded by like-minded people and like physiques and everything like that. So it's like, oh, everybody's chubby, but you don't consider it chubby. It's like everybody's regular. So yep. it takes you to get to another place and you realize, oh, okay, now I'm fat. Like I never knew that. I want to say maybe going to middle school, somebody called me fat. And I was like, what? Like, why'd you call me that? What makes me fat? Like, I'm just a kid. And then when I got to high school, I found out, I don't want to say I found out about football, but like football is like, okay, so when you big, this is the sport you play. If you tall, you play basketball. If you big, you play football. You know, if you could run fast, you was a receiver, you know. So you had like a lane, and that's your lane. You're a big dude, you go play lineman, you play defensive lineman, and that's what you did. And you weren't fat anymore because you were in that pocket like, oh, you're not fat, you just a football player. So it's okay. So like I had that mindset leaving high school. Going into college, I still had that mindset of being big was great. Bigger the better. So even when I played college football, they were force feeding you. They wanted you to be, you know, all you got to do is be able to run 10 yards laterally and back and forth. And that's it. So it's like, oh, that's it. I got to move fast and take up as much space as possible. And I'm able to eat whatever I wanted to. Like nutrition today is vastly different than nutrition back then, because it was like, okay, I can eat 4 or 5 double cheeseburgers. I had French fries. I'm working out 2-3 times a day on the football team. We running all day long. Like I was running and performing at 386. You know what I mean? Like I was moving at 386. Like that was.
How tall are you?
6'9".
6'9". Okay.
So that was like my playing weight, and I didn't consider myself fat then. Now, yes, 100%. But back then, I was like, oh man, I'm in the best shape of my life. You know, like I'm playing football and everything. It wasn't until like I broke my leg and I continued to eat the same that I realized, okay, things are getting like out of control. Like I'm still eating the same. I'm not. You go from working out 3 times a day to working out none. No, 0 times a day. Like you're not working out at all.
You're not moving. Yeah.
You're very sedentary. That weight is just adding up. You know what I mean? That weight's just going to sit on you. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh man, like I'm in 5X shirts. You know, I'm sitting down breaking chairs. I can't move around like I used to. Running 10 yards, let alone running 10 feet, let alone 10 yards is a task now. Like this, you know, how do I come out of this?
Wow.
And I came out of school, like, of course, with a broken leg, not playing football, not being able to put any weight on it. So that was very depressing in itself. And I just continued to navigate life like as a big boy. Like I really didn't even know bodybuilding. I didn't even really have a goal of bodybuilding. I knew it came to a point that I just wanted to create a change. You know, I didn't know what that change was per se. Like I didn't have a physique in mind. I didn't have a status that I wanted to achieve. I was just like, I'm tired of being big. I'm tired of being big. What can I do to, you know, trim down, get in shape, and look my best? And back then, like, I want to say that's circa like 2014, 15, something around there, you know? So if you think about it, at that time, bodybuilding.com was like huge. Yeah. That was like, that was like, if you wanted any sort of information on bodybuilding, any sort of information about getting in shape or whatever, you click on there. They have weight loss plans.
Click on the body part. You can click on the body part and all the exercises.
Yeah, it will tell you everything you need to do and all of this stuff. And I was like, you know, what was the number one thing? And everybody would say nutrition. That was like the number one thing. And that was all I read. So I was like, okay, nutrition and cardio, those are the number one things. If I can't grill it or bake it, I'm not going to eat it, and I got to start moving again. And being fat and really self-conscious at this point, like I said, I'm 430 now. I found a 24-hour gym, and I would just go to the gym and I would just walk for like an hour or two every night overnight. So like 2 in the morning, that was my time to like get it in, because I ain't want nobody else to see me struggling, trying to move around, trying to lose weight. I just wanted to be like to myself, not get teased, and like, you know, work on me being me. And I want to say that set the foundation for today, because I still keep that kind of schedule. You know, I'm still in the gym I'm still up at 2 a.m, hitting the gym like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and staying in there like that. That's my grind session. And my mindset has changed from then, from back then of hating myself to want to change versus loving myself now to want to create that change, which is a very dynamic change in mindset. You know what I mean? I think.
Where do you think that happened at? Where do you think that shift happened where you made that change from wanting to do it from that point to that?
I want to say, honestly, it was a lot more recently than I would like to. Like, if I was a liar, I would have said, "Oh man, I learned that so long ago." Man, it was very recent. I want to say within like the last 2 years. I no longer hated myself, but I realized that I should have loved myself all along. And there's a very dynamic difference in the way that you train and the way that you can navigate. You go in there with the mindset like, I hate my body. You don't want to look at yourself in the mirror, and you just want to create this change because you think that's what's going to bring you happiness.
Yeah.
Versus being happy, in where you are and knowing that in time, the confidence that you have in the inside and who you are, the spirit that you are, and everything that you encompass is going to be exuded in your exterior. You know what I mean? So that was, to me, was the manifestation. Like, okay, like I'm on the right track. You know what I mean? Loving myself first and loving myself enough to continuously want to create change and be progressive, and not just in fitness, but like in everything that you do, the way that you navigate, the way that you converse with other people, the way that you build friendships and build bonds.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a very, I want to say, dynamic way of building relationships, because those relationships are built on the ability to flourish versus looking for what can be beneficial. Because when I went into the gym before, I was looking for what could be beneficial to me. Like, what can I do to stop being fat? You know what I mean? Versus, what can I do in loving myself enough to create a masterpiece now? You know what I mean? To work and hammer and chisel it out. Like, I feel like now I'm an artist, and my body's an ever-changing canvas. So every time I go in there, I can just hammer and chisel away at bits and pieces and continue to create this masterpiece that will continuously never be finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
that's amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, you think about some of these things, that some of the paintings that we look at, like the Mona Lisa and some of these paintings, and they be like, man, those are unfinished paintings. Some of these paintings are plastered, and the artists have died, and they were such perfectionists that they never felt like they finished creating a masterpiece which other people see. So a lot of people will look at you or me or people who have achieved so much and be like, man, you're not done. Like, what does done look like? And it's like, there isn't a done. You know what I mean? There's just continuous, constant progression and a desire to be progressive. You know what I mean? And as long as you have that desire to be progressive, then you're going to continue to find things that you can be better at. And it's not hating. It's not in any way hating where you are in the moment. It's just realizing, like, you could be better.
There's more.
I've never met somebody with a pocket full of money and be like, I'm done. Like, what? I don't need any more money. You think about the richest people in the world, Elon Musk or what have, he's not just like, I'm going to retire. I don't want to make more money, even though you don't need it. Yeah. He's just, I'm going to continue to make that money. So, you're tinkering with a car, you're going to continue to tinker with it. It goes as fast as it can for now. Yeah. And then, there's something else you can do to make it go faster. So if you think about marriage, relationships, yeah, you get married, but that's not the end game. Like, yeah. That's not it. Like, once you get married, then you're still building on that marriage. You know what I mean? It's never ending learning, building, growing process. And if we look at that throughout life in its entirety, then we should always continue and yearn to be progressive. It's the people that remain stagnant. That I want to say that are haters. You know what I mean? Like, they find a reason to not like people who are progressive. The people that are out there hungry because they don't have that willingness and desire. They'd rather get that one job and I'll stay here for the rest of my life. I'll do this. I'm not knocking those kind of people, but there are
difference. The difference is just
it's just different. It's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, you just you relate more. People who have your personality, your mentality relate to you, and people who don't understand you. They just don't understand you. It's all comes down to understanding. You know what I mean? And
I mean, that's when we were having lunch. We had, we were talking about that, and like me, you, and Q. I had never met you before, and I met Q maybe like a couple of times before that. But just sitting down and feeling that energy, is like, man, everybody's passionate about something. You know what I mean? And it's not even being assembled with men that's not just passionate about like one thing. Like you photography, videography, podcast, like multifaceted. You know what I mean? Q, multifaceted. Family man. Like, so you look at this and be like, listen, yeah, my mind goes in a million places because there's a million things I want to do. And I wish there were like 20 of me so I can knock them all down, because that's how passionate you are. And you want
to give it this all quality time and attention.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, man, I wish I had more time to invest in this podcast. Shit.
You good?
So, yeah, I wish I had more time to invest in this podcast. I wish I had more time to invest in my videography. I wish I had more time to, invest in my family. Like 24 hours. There's some people who have that 24 hours and they're so wasteful. You know what I mean? Like, they wake up 10 o'clock at night and then they go, 10 o'clock in the morning, or sometimes after that in the afternoon, like they wake up noon, 1 o'clock, and they start going about their day. And about 10 o'clock, they're back in bed. I'm like, damn, I'm up at 2. I'm up at 2, and sometimes I might not even hit the sheets until midnight. You know what I mean? I can sleep when I'm dead. I might not get enough sleep, and I understand that. But like my passion and my desire, that's what drives me. You know what I mean? That I feel as though like if I'm sleeping and I'm not being productive, there's something that I need to get done. I'm not going to be stagnant. I'm not going to wait on it. I'm not going to take my time and be like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm not going to procrastinate. Like, I want it now. I need to do it now before I talk myself out of it, before I find an excuse why I shouldn't do it, or, why I won't do it. Do it now. Knock it out and be like, you know what? This was a dope experience. This was,
Yeah, do it for the experience.
Yeah.
For the experience. Now, where did that come from? Where do you feel like you got that philosophy? Where did it hit you to perceive things that way and to look at things that way? Make your approach that way.
I just want to say, for me, just coming from where I came from, you know what I mean? Coming from like 430 pounds to where I am now. If you would have asked me back then, you could have said, for $1 billion, could you lose this weight? I wouldn't have taken a bet. I wouldn't. I don't care if it was $1 billion. You looked at me and was like, can you do this? Like, can you look like how I look now? If you show me a picture, cut my head off and be like, this, I know, like, I don't know this is me. You show me and be like, can you get here for $1 billion? I'm like, no, not even gonna try, bro. I'm gonna fail. Like, that looks so hard. Like, that dude, I'm not capable of being that.
Yeah.
And then here I am. You know what I mean? Like, damn, like I did that. And once I realized that was probably one of my hardest feats, then I could be like, what else can I do? You know what I mean? Like, what else can I do? Like, that was such a dynamic mind shift, because I became an entirely different person. Like, the people who knew me back then don't know me anymore, because I've changed my mindset completely. You know what I mean? So when somebody tells me something can't be done, that's more and more determination for me to be like, watch it. You know what I mean? Like, now I really believe in me. There's no doubt in my mind that I can achieve anything that I really put my mind to. Like, you hear that as a child and it sounds good. And then when you get into your adolescence, you get into adulthood, you don't believe it. Yeah. You don't believe it anymore. It's like, oh man, the Tooth Fairy Santa.
The system beat it out of you and shit. Like, they beat all your imagination. They beat your whole imagination.
Tooth Fairy Santa, I could be anything. Nah, I don't believe none of that anymore.
None of that shit.
That's all for the birds.
Yeah.
And until you realize, like, oh man, I am capable. Like, I really, and not saying it's going to be easy, and not saying like it's going to be a short road, but just to know that, I can do this. You know what I mean? If that's me, can you be a multi-billionaire? 1,000,000%. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, but it's like, are you willing to put the work in? That's all you really need to ask yourself. Like, are you willing to put the work in? Mm-hmm. There's some kids that are very talented in sports, and there's some kids that aren't as talented. And the kids that aren't as talented, some of them want it way more. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yep. And they will outwork somebody who's a prime athlete, you know what I mean? Because they have that resilience and that determination and that desire to be there, you know what I mean? You know, I feel as though if I was in shape my entire life, I wouldn't be as appreciative as I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you know what it takes to get there.
Yeah, it would be harder for you if you would have lost it. Yours would have been the reverse, dealing with more weight and not being able to move. It would have been the the polar opposites. You would always polar opposites.
I mean, you think about it. I don't know, like if your parents gave you your first car, man, you ride that bitch, like, you know, ride it till the wheels fall off, not getting no oil. You don't care about nothing. As soon as you get your own car, you be like, oh, I gotta pay for this.
You pay for that and shit.
You're gonna start being a little bit more cognizant of what you're doing. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. That's the journey, man. That's life. That's progression, and that's how we grow. We got to grow through those experiences that build it up.
Sure.
You know
sure. I mean, I love what you said earlier. You know what I mean? Like, we have so many lives, and I'm not sure what life I'm on right now, but I look forward to, you know, every aspect of the journey. You know what I mean? Like from being one person to growing into another person to growing into another person. Like, I don't know who I'm going to be 5 years from now, but I look forward to it because I know the path that I'm aligned to. You know what I mean?
The fact that it's open, you don't have a determined outcome in your mind right now. So now you're free to be whatever you want to be, as opposed to whatever you commit to now. See, if you committed to something now, I'm going to do this in 5 years, it actually holds back to your progression of what you could possibly be because you closed in, you narrowed it in. You know what I mean?
Like you put yourself in a box, and then people fall victim to that box. You know what I mean? Like, great, fine. If you achieve that goal, amazing. But what happened if you don't? What happened if it's like a goal that you really, really wanted to achieve, and now you're fighting against the grain to achieve something that can come with a little bit more time, you know? Like, you have to be cognizant and be like, listen, I'm determined. I want to achieve some goals, but have a open, I want to say like an open playing field. You know what I mean? Like, don't fall victim to your own demise for preconceived goals and obligations that you set. Like, you set these.
You gotta be okay with changing your mind.
Yeah,
you gotta be okay with contradict. You gotta be okay with contradicting yourself, because that's what happens when you get more knowledge. You contradict what you previously knew. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, you know, just because, you know, some people will be quick to call you a liar. People will be quick to downplay you and say, oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. Things change. Maybe I have a little bit more knowledge now. You know what I mean? What I thought before.
That was my old life.
Yeah, that was my old life. You know, I used to think like that. You're right. I did say that 7 years ago. I said that I don't view those things anymore. You know what I mean? And you can apologize, or you can just say, hey, I just have a new mindset. I have a new approach. Listen, 4 years ago, you would have asked me, what do you think about carbs? Carbs are the devil, bro. You don't need a lot of carbs, you know, like I've been working out, I've been training, no carbs, straight ketosis, keto diet, healthy fats, whatever. My body was like, hey, you can chalk that up as an L. Like, you know, you've reached that level of, you know, what you can do in that state without carbs. Now you have to figure out a more dynamic way of building your physique. It's like, all right, now I got to try something, you know, I got to do something new. Something that I feel as though is like very conventional or unconventional. Let me see what this looks like. And then lo and behold, you know what? Listen, that was good for that season that I was in. And now it's time for a new season, you know? Absolutely. You meet people who train every day, but like heavyweight all the time, all I do, you know? And then you get a couple injuries here and there. You be like, you know what? High reps is the way to go now, bro. You know, high reps is it, you know? Moderate weight, high reps, that's the way to go, because you come to, you know, understanding like, all right, this might not be advantageous as I thought it would be, like to my goals. You know what I mean?
What's the long term?
What's the long term? I did 26 shows this season. Like, you come next year, I'm only gonna do 2 because I realized last year I beat my body down. You know, like I almost died last year. You know, I put myself out there, and, you know, I almost fell. But the good thing is it's a learning experience. So you did that and you gained the knowledge versus you don't do it and then you lack that understanding and that knowledge to be like, you know, it's always the what if. Like, what if I would have did those? I might have, you know, whatever. So do it and make your own discoveries while doing it. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. It's and then like you just said, he was like, I almost died, but that's that David Goggins mentality where you push yourself and you learn that like, oh shit, there's another limit. I may not want to do it again, but damn, I found out that there's another ledge past the ledge I thought was there. There's another, you know what I mean?
Man, there's so many gears.
Another level I could go. There's another level I could go. There's another level I could go. So,
I mean, you think about your photography, your videography. You think about where it was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? You look at some of the pictures you took or some of the videos you shot, your editing skills. And back then, like you posted it, you'd be like, this is fucking fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Posted it with conviction and shit.
Yeah. Now today you look at it, you're like, man, that was trash. You know what I mean? Like now I'm creating some fire. Yeah. And then it's like, was that, it wasn't trash back then. Like that was fire at that time. Like at that season of where you were, that was dope. You know what I mean? Like I used to look at my posts and other people's posts on social media and be like, best physique ever. It's like, all right, then, you know, you work a little bit harder, 6 months now, look at this is, you know, like how many best physique ever are you going to have? And it's like every fucking day, dog. Like now you think about it, like every day you're training, you're going to be better. It's going to be better. So every show you do, everything, it should be progressive. So I understand that. Yeah, this is the best physique ever until you do it again. And that should be the best. You shouldn't be going backwards. You know what I mean? So I get it. Like, oh man, I made a dope video. Great. I expect the next one to be even doper. I expect the next one to be even doper. Yep. Hey, this podcast is fire. Great. I know the one that's going to be after this one is going to be even doper because it's another level. And you should always be elevated. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's dope. So what you got coming up, man? Tell me what else you got coming up. What you got going on?
You know what? Listen. We've been messaging back and forth. I told you where I'm trying to get you to come out to. You know,
I'm trying to make it out that week.
Yeah, I definitely want you to come out to Dallas. I mean, man, to me, that's where it's at. I love training out in Dallas now. The culture back in like 2015, 2016 of working out in Venice, where everybody that was into bodybuilding was there. Like that was the mecca of bodybuilding. Everybody was there. That was home. And now everybody's kind of spread out now. You know, you have a big bodybuilding culture in like New York, New Jersey. Whereas that wasn't like bodybuilding and fitness is not really an East Coast thing. It's cold, wintertime, people put on coats. They're not out there. You know, I went to Bev's the other day and the dude was arguing because it was cold, you know, and like he's like, yeah, these dudes walking around in here working out in Timbs and stuff. Like, you know, he was hella mad. Like he said, Timberland stains everywhere, and they just be walking around in boots. And so, you know, it's not really a culture on the East Coast. When it gets cold, people put on their coat and they don't train. When it's warm all year round, people look at you all year round, so you can see what somebody's physique look like. So, you know, people are moving to Orlando. There's a lot of people move to Texas and Vegas and stuff like that. So I want to say like the world is open, and I love to explore and train in different places and be in different environments. You know, I get that motivation. I can be like socially antisocial, where I can like train around other people and watch them and see what they do and like receive tips in my vision. But like, I don't have to talk to you. Like, I don't, you know, not being mean, but like, I don't have to interrupt you to not be driven by what you're doing. You know what I mean?
And to gain some knowledge in the people.
Yeah, gain some knowledge. You see some stuff, or you can like this. Sometimes you can just walk into a room and feel that energy and be like, "Yo, this is the place I need to be. Like, this is where it's at." You know, that used to be home, and now it's really not. You know, I can go to Texas and like usually I train in a hoodie all day long, but working out around people that's really intense makes you intensify your workout. Next thing you know, I'm like, man, my heart beating out my chest. I got to come out of this hoodie. You know, some of the best workouts that I've received. So, and it's just me, you know, working a little bit harder. So right now, just training, just working on putting on some sides for my next show, which will probably be later on in the year. I want to say maybe October, you know, I'm push it out. So I got 5 or so months and just add some size, man. I think that's the only thing, you know, me being natural, that's one thing that's really holding me back. It's like being able to put on size and stand, like I'm 6'9", so automatically like putting on, I'm longer. So I gotta, you know, struggle to put on size now, and it has to, you know, be even more size to be, you know, look in comparison as big as somebody standing beside me, like at 6 feet, you know what I mean? So even if we weigh the same, it's like, you know, stretch me out. You know, I don't look as big. So I mean, right now, this is definitely a time for me like to grow, and I'm trying to like grow into my next show. So stay moderately, I don't want to say moderately lean, but stay and look like I have some sort of aesthetics, while I'm training and putting on some size. So by the time I coast into my next show, I think I'll be looking, quite proper.
That's dope. Damn, hold on. My screen is.
It's all good.
You're telling me I got 4 minutes left. If it got out, I'm just gonna bring you back on.
So, all right. Well, when the thing paused last time, I was at 20%, but it ain't said 10% yet. So I was just letting you know.
All right, cool. All right. So then you know what?
What's up?
Let's see if we can wrap up in the time frame, because you said you get to about 11:30, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
11:30. All right, real quick. Hold on. I'll be far gone if I don't ask you about your connection with the pink. So one of the things that I noticed, and one of the things that Q he touched on, but we didn't really go deep into it. He was like, your connection to always tie in pink with what you're wearing. So
Sure.
Just want to know a little bit about where that came from, and does that symbolize?
I mean, it's so many different stories, but pink to me is very symbolic of like my journey. You know what I mean? If you think about the color pink, a lot of people think about it as a female color, or very soft, or feminine. But also, if you think about it in another aspect, it's very driven, courage. You know what I mean? Healing. If you think about shit.
That's your 1 and 2, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. I got 3 minutes and 12.
Okay, no problem. So if you think about it, like, being courageous, unstoppable, unbeatable, people who survivor of breast cancer, survivor of these things. So, it's almost like a pit bull. I feel very misunderstood, and a pit bull, I have a dog. It's a pit, like 180 pounds, very misunderstood. They think they're very temperamental and territorial, but people really don't understand where they've come from, and they don't understand where they're going. So for me, I feel like that's a representation of me. Like through wearing pink, first of all, it's great for branding. Like, come on now, like 6'9", you see me, you're gonna be like, oh, that's the tall dude in pink. Like, you're not gonna miss that. How many other people do you see wear pink? But second to that, I mean, before that, is the courage and resilience, you know what I mean, to achieve and defeat obstacles that stand in your way to try to beat you down and take you out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you think about those survivors who survived cancer, or those things, people who beat neurofibromatosis, or, things of that nature. Like, these are really big deals, and you come out on top, and a lot of people really don't believe that you would, you know what I mean? You just stay true to who you were, and determined to defeat something that you thought was unbeatable. You know what I mean? So for me, nah, man, I didn't think I would come out of being big. I thought I would die big. I thought I would die from obesity, or high blood pressure, hypertension, and diabetes, and things of that nature. So I'm very blessed to be able to, allow my body, my canvas, to exude, my struggles, and be able to, I want to say, be a walking testament to resilience and determination, allowing me to be like the vessel to tell people, like, not to give up. Like, it might sound hard, and it fucking is, you know what I mean? Like, I meet people all the time, and I walk up to people in the gym that I felt like were like me, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're big, you don't want to be here. Like, you're hiding out. You think I'm looking at you, judging you, and I'm not. And I just want to let you know, like, it's all good. Like, you got this. Like, keep going. Like, I was there. I've been there. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it feels like, but I also know what it feels like to be on the other side. Yeah. And when people realize, like, yo, this can be done, it ignites another kind of fire inside. You know what I mean? Something.
Bro, it's gonna cut off. I just want you to just real quick. We got to do a part 2. We definitely got to. Okay. Do please.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, when we got more time, we could definitely chop it up, do a part 2. I mean, I definitely look forward to that. But it was great for what it was for right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not over.
Definitely not over. It's just a warm up.
For sure.
Real quick, what you listening to when you working out right now?
Oh man, I listen to everything, dog. I listen to everything. I listen to a lot of NF. I don't know if he's a rapper, almost like music. I mean, not music, like Eminem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he's very similar to Eminem, always telling like a story. And I listen to I want to say sometimes a lot of like contemporary slow music, and that's just for posing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a fast poser, so yeah, I'll listen to like Trap Nation or something like that while I'm really training, and then like at the tail end of my training, I listen to songs to try to find my next song that I'm going to pose to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So when I'm lifting heavy weights and stuff like that, yeah, I'm listening to like Trap Nation. I'm listening to like a whole bunch of ratchet shit. Anything, oh, murder your mama, yeah, like whatever helps me get that weight up. And then when I'm tapering off, I'm about to do abs or anything like that, I could just mellow out. Then I'm listening to music to try to find a song that speaks to me that I can, use in my next routine or something like that. So I might spend a couple of months finding something that that speaks to me in that fashion. And then once I find it, then I'll just, while I'm training in between sets, practice my posing or practice, my moves, for my next show until, I can get it locked in. So that's what I like to do.
Dope. All right. I'm definitely gonna look into that. Real quick, what's your favorite gym so far to train in Dallas?
Oh, Destination Dallas. That's a no-brainer right there.
Okay.
Destination Dallas. I do like Metroflex. That's out there where Q is. That's down like in Dallas, Fort Worth. First of all, anybody who has never been to Texas, especially like if you from New York, hold on, let me get, I got 10%. Listen, especially if you from New York, if you from LA, and you one of them people to be like walking blocks, like, okay, like, home, I skate, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm leaving the house midday, I know the gym is 15 minutes. It's going to take me like an hour, 30 minutes to drive. But I can hop on my skateboard and I can skate there and get there in like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? In New York, you can do the same thing. Like, oh, where's that restaurant? Like 5 blocks. You're like, okay, cool. In Texas, you need a car for everything. Like to get around, you need a car, bro, or you need to take an Uber. I remember I was going there for like FitCon. The first time I ever went, I did a podcast out there, and I was in Dallas, and I was like, the whole damn thing is Dallas. But I didn't know like it was a $98 Uber ride to where I needed to go like the first day. Like that's how far.
Yeah.
The gym said it was like, oh, it's a mile. I was like, oh, a mile? Cool. Like I could skate a mile. Like I skate a mile all the time. Country Texas mile ain't no regular mile. They ain't got no shoulder. They ain't got no sidewalk. They don't have nothing. It's just pickup trucks, and like your ass ain't supposed to be on like walking here. You ain't supposed to be doing none of that. So yeah, I learned my lesson.
6'9" black ass skating through the neighborhood.
Yeah, like well, what are you doing? Like so many people was looking like, yo, what is this dude doing out here? And I mean that's that's where I'm from. Like people, it's so much traffic. People be lanes splitting and stuff like that. Like I can grab a bumper, or I can grab a wheel well if traffic is moving slow, and I just hold on to your wheel well, and you drive and like pick up speed, and I let go. And a car ain't going to be like, oh, you're damaging my car because I'm inside the wheel well.
Yeah.
I tried to do that. One time in Texas, and the dude got out the car and had looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm like, Texas, yeah. What do you think? I ain't trying to steal your tire or nothing. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
it's a different world out there.
He probably was holding too.
Oh, for sure.
They just
I'm like, hey, listen, I don't want no trouble, big fella.
Different coaches, something to get used to, especially coming from the East.
Yeah, I'd be like, yo, I'm just passing through. I don't even want those kind of problems. Like I'm used to guns, but I'm like, I'm not used to people carrying guns like everywhere, like doing regular everyday stuff. Like, hey, where the chips at? Sir, why you got a gun on? Like, why you grabbing nuts with like a gun? Like, you're not doing anything that you like not supposed to be doing or nothing like that.
It's a culture shock. It's like the first time you just see it, like just chilling in somebody, so you look around, you jump like, whoa, you gotta remember where you at.
Somebody to pop off.
Yeah. Like, you gotta remember where the fuck you at. And then you look around, you're just like, man, these people are ready. These people are fucking, they ready. They ready.
And I guess that's why they don't have that many problems in Texas, like, because you never know who's carrying and stuff like that. Like, LA is getting bad, bro. It's really bad.
We spoke about that, and that's remember we was joking on Q.
Yeah.
The park, he's opening up the garage. It's like having like a fucking trunk sale, like an auction. I'm like, yo, you don't park and open up your trunk and then close your trunk and leave. You just don't do that, especially with
Yeah.
what you got.
Whatever you got, you need, you better get that before you go to like your next stop, or you
Absolutely.
just get out the car with your backpack or whatever. Like dudes to knock your head loose, breaking your window. They see what you're doing.
Yeah,
You know,
the less
like,
moving around in your own car you do when you get out, the better. You just get out, don't tuck nothing, don't. Everything needs to be adjusted before you get to where you're going.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to put my wallet in the glove box. Somebody watching you put your wallet in the glove box, and they just gonna go straight there. So yeah, it's a very different culture from like what I'm used to and what I'm used to seeing. So, and I can understand like now when I see Q, like I can understand why you move like that. Like people out there is like hella different. But like if you came to LA, I'd be like, listen, this is how you gotta move. Like you carrying all this camera equipment and stuff like that. It's like, hey, I'm about to just put this in my trunk. Like, it ain't gonna be there when you get back. Like you just broadcasted to everybody. You put like this camera and stuff in there. You're gonna be walking and be like, man, that looks like my lens cap. It is. It is
your lens cap. Yep.
that is your lens cap rolling down the street. Somebody taking pictures with your camera right beside you.
Right by you, daring you to say something. Yeah. That's a different culture. I think everywhere is that's I guess that's the ill thing about traveling. And you traveling a lot, you probably see all types of different things that are foreign to you from where you native from. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you know what? But I want to say a lot isn't that different. You know what I mean? A lot of it's like not that different, especially if you want, I want to say like if you lived in a bad area, you know how to navigate all bad areas pretty much. You like, but if you come from an area that like Texas, I don't want to say might not have any bad areas, but Texas like is a very, very, very different area. You go from an area where everybody's supposed to carry a gun and everybody like this is very gun safe culture to an environment where like people who carry guns ain't supposed to have them. You know, like that's very different. I went to the UK and like, you know, somebody pull a knife on you. It's like, nigga, people pull guns every day. You know, like, like what you gonna do with that knife?
Like, it's the best you got, nigga.
yeah, like that's it. Like, all right, like it's only you and that knife. All right. Not even a big knife. Like, I've been to like certain parts of Mexico, like dudes like out there with a long machete. It's like, like that sir is a knife that I don't want no trouble with. You know what I mean? But your little pocket knife, that ain't nothing. But to everybody in your environment that's like not used to guns and stuff like that, like, you know,
it's a big
it's really different. But I mean that's one of the beautiful parts about traveling, just being in different environments and seeing, you know, the different things that people are passionate about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like you wouldn't even imagine like the things that are out there. Like a big, like now people are skating, you know, people are hula hooping and slacklining and shit, like, you know, like that's a huge culture. And you go to New York and you got like fashion district and things like that, you know, where people really take that stuff like super seriously. You know, everybody wants to be into like high fashion and fashion week and stuff like that. So just to see, you know, these people and these things collide, and fashion, you know, in fashion too. Like I remember you go to some of these expos and you see people with slouch socks and Fila shoes on and be like, look at me, like I'm what's popping. Like, not really. Like not where I'm from.
Not how we see it. Not how we see it.
Not at all. You know, like if you wear Timberlands, like if you come from New York, you got a North Face on and Timberlands, and you come to the beach in LA, everybody gonna clown you. But you know, if you, and vice versa, if you come up there with like beach shoes on, you know, like
we gonna definitely poke you out, pick you out.
Yeah, and that's prime example. I wear pink wherever I go, but like if I go to New York, people automatically be like, "Oh, this dude gay, something wrong," you know, something like that, because that's a very
not how you rock it. Nah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, like
I gotta give my city so credit. You got Cameron and Cassidy, like all Dipset out there, you know, they do. But I'm just saying, like certain areas you go in, they gonna step to you before they step to somebody that's wearing all black. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. But I just had some pink socks on yesterday when I was at the gym. Like I fuck with pink. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just, you know, I think it's a good contrast color. I think it goes, you know what I'm saying? You could just, especially with pink and black, it's a good look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
Nah, definitely. So I liked it, but I was like, even like when we were walking through the expo, it was like, because you taller than everybody, so you got the vantage point. You like, we're going that way, and we just follow fucking you. You there, we just follow you. But everybody coming over to you, or you just stopping by, everybody recognizing you, and a lot of it, from relationships that you built, and then also like what we'll get into later on, but your branding and how you market and brand yourself and stuff like that. So it's all. I can see it all. I see it all. How it's put together, how it's working for you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You know what I mean? Like, image is everything. So, like, what do you like? We had that conversation at the expo. Like, what are you known for? Like, how can you be present and people know you but not know your name?
Not know your name.
You know what I mean? Like, how can people know you and not know your name? And that's like a great question. If you ask anybody, like, how would they describe you and not get you confused with some other dude on the street? You know what I mean? Like, what can they say about you that would separate you? Like, oh man, he black and he got a camera and he got like a beard. Like, all right, what else? Like, if I go to this expo, how can I sort you out from everybody else?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like Q always got like a different hairstyle, but sometimes it's different colors. So imagine like if he had like one very distinct hairstyle and be like, oh, the dude and his hair be combed over and it'd be like blonde with the little gray tips. Be like, oh yeah, I see that dude all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know that dude. Some dudes are like super big, some dudes are super tall. So what would set you apart from everybody else when you walk into a room and they be like, I know that's him. No matter what. No name, no question, but no name, but no question who you are.
Who you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, brother. Listen, before we both run out of time and we got to rush our goodbye. Sure. Well, till next time. I don't like to do goodbyes, but definitely till next time. Look up here because this is where the camera's at. I appreciate you.
Okay, for sure. I probably wasn't looking at the camera the whole time.
I'm looking down the whole time, and I know I'm like, man, I got to make an adjustment, but I'll take care of it another time. But definitely thank you for coming through and gracing me with your presence. Great story, man. I always feel motivated and uplifted every time I speak or interact with you, man. I know I'm gonna do something incredible with the rest of my day. I just want to put that out there.
I appreciate that, though, for sure, man. That's one thing. This is probably the last thing I'm gonna say because I could probably talk your ear off. But like, man, assembling yourself around like minds. You know what I'm saying? Like feeding off that energy, dude. By far, that was the best day of the expo, and I competed the day before. You feel me? Do you feel that?
Yeah,
like I competed the day before, and I had an amazing time. But by far, the best day of the expo was when I was laughing and joking with you guys, like because it was business, it was fun, and it was so dynamic and explosive in just a short amount of time. I don't know how many hours we were together. It could have been all day, but it could not have been all day. But it just like it didn't matter. It wasn't overbearing. And it was just so much happening. It's like, damn, man, like
that was a good day.
I could have did 3 or 4 or 5 days of this. I was eating good because it was filling my soul. You know what I'm saying? And that's something different. You know what I'm saying? That's something you don't get every day, and that's something that I desire to receive every day. You know what I mean? Like, to feel fed in that ability to be mentally stimulated, around somebody who wants something just as much as I do, but in a different realm.
Absolutely. We're gonna leave it right there till next.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Leave it right there next time. Bro, I appreciate it, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
I know you're gonna have a busy weekend. All success in everything that you do, and I'll check you on the gram. All
right, man. See you later. Have a good one.
Peace, bro. Hey, thanks for checking out that interview with my man Otis Bartlett, also known as the Divine Bod on social media. Not the Divine Bod, but Divine Bod on social media. Definitely give him a follow. Check him out over there. And be on the lookout for part 2, because we definitely gonna do this again. Finish up our conversation. I feel like we was just starting to get, down to the grit before our schedules conflicted and batteries started dying and things like that. But definitely thanks for checking it out. Please subscribe if you like the information, hit the like button, and till next time. Bad motherfucker.